Jard is sponsored by 5thegamer, so for all of your headset needs, go to 5thegamer.com and use discount code JARD20 at checkout to receive 10% off your next order. Jard is also partnered with XTiffy, so for all of your GTA resources, go check out xtiffy.com, that's xtiffi.com. We do have our own website complete with a full episode catalog, merch, and more information about each of our cast members, so you can find that at jardpodcast.com. We are also on Patreon, so to become a patron, go to patreon.com/jardpodcast.
I hit it.
I mean...
Hit it like I can't miss.
I'm there.
The vagina pillow has Amber all horny and weird now.
It's just...
That's how we're starting this one.
It's just
Hello,
so
everyone,
fun.
and welcome back to Jard. By the way, Dougie's not wearing pants.
Hi!
So what's new?
Are we expressing the need now to just tell everybody if we're not wearing pants or not?
I'm
felt
wearing
like
pants.
I needed to, because Dougie's like, no one knows that I'm not wearing pants. You guys know, but the listeners don't. And I'm like, oh, bet.
Why does your impression of Dougie sound like an 80-year-old man?
Why does your impression of you sound like a kindergartner?
Because unfortunately, I do sound like one, and I act like one as well half the time.
It's okay, we can't all be mature.
As you sit there stroking your vagina cushion.
I was about to say, who the here is mature?
Why would you want that?
I don't care, this pillow's soft.
I'm glad you said pillow, because I'm just thinking of other right now. I really am.
For our Spotify listeners, Amber has found a pillow in my closet that looks like it's supposed to look like a flower, but the middle of it looks like a vagina, so...
That's where the clit is.
Show Ryan. Make sure he knows.
Oh, I know. No, you're good, I know.
Do you? Do you?
Oh, yeah. You'll have to get it out later, though, for YouTube once my video software catches up, because right now we look like a stop-motion animation, so...
We'll have to get our vaginas out? What?
Well, yeah, I mean, isn't that what we always do after we record?
Dixie and vaginas.
No, I mean,
True.
Dougie get our vagina.
Speak for yourself.
Okay, I get my vagina out, Dougie gets whatever he got out.
But...
Oh, God, but...
Right. Dumb ass question coming in. You ready?
Oh, great.
I'm glad I
Every
have a
other
drink in my
question
hand
you ask.
already.
I'll get ready.
That's why I took a drink first. Are we recording our bonus episode first, or Jess's part 3?
My part 3.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. I was going in this totally unaware which we were doing first, so I'm glad I cleared that up with myself.
Well, it's okay, because you guys were scrambling so hard to figure out a date that you didn't even think that we didn't have a topic pick for the bonus episode, so...
But
If you're listening to this, we totally have a topic pick now. Kind
This
of.
was me this morning when I checked my phone and you guys were blowing up the group chat with, oh my god, what do we do? I was like, I was in bed. I was like, the.
Well, when Amber sent the message, she was like a question, and I was like, okay, well, hopefully not. And then she was like, well, what are we doing for the? I literally sat there and I was like, oh, like the penny just
This
dropped.
is how you know that. This is how you know that I'm chaotic evil, because I realized way earlier this week that we did not have anything picked for the bonus episode.
Aye.
And just said nothing.
And I said nothing because I was waiting to see how long it would take the rest of you to figure out that we did not have anything picked for the bonus episode.
And when I got here, I sat on Jess's back porch and she's sitting there with me. She was like, so, have y'all figured out what we're doing for the bonus
Oh my
episode yet?
God.
And I'm like, I reckon we haven't.
Wow, Jess, you really are chaotic.
Hey, I
evil.
gotta lead tonight's regular episode. Okay, you guys gotta help me out here with this bonus episode. I can't do it all.
True.
I know I look like Superwoman, but I can't do it all.
I was just so worried about us recording it, in a timely fashion for Ryan. I didn't.
Oh, it's fine. I was the least prepared tonight
Slipped
anyway.
my mind.
You guys are all calling, like, getting ready and stepping and everything. I'm still sitting in my PJs watching Jackass. Like, I was so unprepared for tonight, so I won't...
That was like a similar situation. Amber's like, should we video call the boys? And I was like, I don't know. I was kind of waiting to see how long it would take for them to realize that we had not called them yet.
I was sat here
I
suddenly
just kind of
thinking...
like waiting. That's my toxic trait. I like
got to
waiting to
about-
see how long it takes for people to realize things.
It got to about 10:15 or 10:10, yeah, 10:15, 10:30, and I was sat and I was like, the phone's not started ringing yet. Like, why have they not called? Like, I know Amber got to Jess, it's like midday.
Right.
And I was like,
right.
What's going on?
And see, I would have probably initiated the call sooner. However, I was too busy getting off in Jess's living room for hours on end.
Okay.
We were watching the bits of the last season of the OC, admittedly a show that I've never gotten into nor watched. Like, I know just enough to get by, like, character names and stuff, but oh my god. That show, it infuriated me. What's that one girl's name? The one I kept yelling at? Taylor? That bitch is crazy. And she did crazy and it was just like supposed to be comical, and I'm like, no, you're psychotic.
Amber, these people are teenagers. Yes, they are psychotic.
It's been a while since I've just yelled at a television, and I just got
That's
into
how
it.
I
I
know
couldn't
you're
stop
old.
watching.
That's how I know you're
couldn't.
old.
I am old, okay?
It's
I am
literally
old.
teenagers, and you're like, oh my god, you're so toxic. And I'm like, yes, they're like 18. Of course they're toxic. Of course.
And then I was just getting mad at everything. I'm like, what do these people do for a living? I've yet to see anyone go to work. Like, they're having parties on yachts and being very dramatic with each other for no reason. Home dude gets mad because a girl applied to a college that he just so happened to be going to.
Amber was very upset. I was literally sitting on the back porch with Charles, and we were like smoking a cigarette, and Amber was in the living room. We could hear her just repeatedly yelling at the TV, and Charles was just sitting there laughing. I'm like,
he came in the house, and I was just standing in the kitchen. I think I was just standing in the kitchen, like looking through at the TV, and he was like, "Are you okay?" And I'm like, "No, I'm not okay. Are you watching this?"
which I'm kind of surprised because I've seen that show a million times. Like, that was my jam back in middle school. So I was kind of surprised when you came over and I was like watching it, and I thought you would come over and be like, "Oh, that's my like I watched that in like 7th or 8th grade," and you're like, "What the is this?" I'm like.
I feel inclined to watch it now, at least go finish that one episode that we walked away from, because I know someone died. Someone had to die. It just
obviously it was no one notable because I don't even remember who dies.
honestly, that might just be PTSD trying to prevent you from remembering. I don't know.
The last season was very forgettable. Anyway, so yeah. We were supposed to do all this stuff for Amber Sims today, but she got on that couch with that show on, and she just like...
I got mad.
You are toxic. You're toxic too. And you're toxic for enabling them for being toxic. And I'm like, oh my God. So yeah, very productive day.
Super
Well, I had a productive day, because while Amber was yelling at the TV, I was downloading mods for my Sims, so...
Any notable ones, rather, this week?
Less so mods, more along the lines of custom content. So no, I have not downloaded any more weird sex. Actually, there is a bouncy ball with a dildo on it that you can download for your sim.
Like a yoga ball
Like
kind
one
of
of
thing.
those rubber, like one of those exercise balls.
Yeah.
With a dick on it.
Yeah.
Cool.
I did download that.
Sweet.
So, yeah.
That sounds interesting.
Yikes.
I have to
Exercise
force
and
my
sex
sim
at
to
the same
use it
time.
though.
Two birds, one
Hey,
stone.
did you get this? Did you get the Swan Princess dress?
I did.
Good girl.
They didn't have anything for Ariel though. I looked. Sorry.
Oh, it's okay.
Well, anyway, today is my last episode about Lake Norman.
Woo!
I didn't realize that I had so many other encounters saved. So I'm going to be running through a few more encounters. I'm going to be talking about... I'll get to it. Just
Okay.
some interesting things that I learned along the way. Let me see. So I'm trying to figure out where I left off on the account, because like with all my notes this season, I've just been kind of like bouncing around and giving you guys what's most applicable at the time. So I'm trying to remember which ones that I've given you and which ones I have not. So I'm just gonna go for it with what I have left. And if any of it sounds familiar, which it probably does, because they're all like, I was on a boat and I saw a creature. But if any of it sounds specifically familiar, interrupt me and let me know, and I'll skip it.
Okay.
Sure.
Okay.
So now this is testing how much we've paid attention.
Yes, because I want to say, I don't think I listened to my last episode after it premiered, so I don't remember. I just hate my voice, you guys. I just don't listen to any of our episodes because I hate my voice. Psych.
I think you did say something about you found out something unusual, or
Oh, I mean, there's some weird activity in that area, but that's to come later. Okay, so I'll just go ahead and start with what I have left for the encounters. Once again, these were pulled from LakeNormanMonster.com, the recurring resource for my topic this season. God, I hope I didn't give this one already, but it sounds kind of familiar. Keith from Sarasota, Florida, he submitted a story that says, while he was anchored near a cove close to his friend's house, many of them were floating in the water, tubing and just lounging on the boat deck, when he saw what looked like a bald human head come out of the water for a brief second, then go back under the water.
Just a whole ass human
He wasn't
head.
sure. He wasn't sure what he had seen, but another friend on the boat said that she saw the same thing. So I'm imagining if you see pictures of Nessie coming out of the water, it kind of looks like not a human head, but a bald head. Like, what's that dinosaur? What's the really big dinosaur? Is it a stegosaurus? Is that what Nessie looks like with the long neck?
Is it Bronchosaurus? No, it might be Stegosaurus.
Dougie, help us
I
out
thought
here.
Stegosaurus had the.
Dinosaurs, that's your family, dog.
Okay, types of dinosaurs. Did you say this is Frank?
I thought Stegosaurus had the things on its back.
Yeah, Stegosaurus has the big
Are
hump
they
on
the
its back with the
stumpy?
spikes. Yeah, Brachiosaurus is the one with the big
Okay.
big long neck, as well as the other one. I can't pronounce it.
Well, and I mean, I guess depending on how far he was from the thing that popped out of the water, I mean, when things are further away, they look smaller
Yeah.
than what they might actually be.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. So I mean, if it's a monster that's similar in species to Nessie, then I mean, I guess I could get that description.
I mean, every time I see a bald guy now, I'm just going to think, Bronchiosaurus.
Normie.
My dad.
Excuse me, is your name Normie?
Yeah. I got some questions for you. And we just sit there rubbing her.
Okay. This next one is a little long, but knowing how fast I talk, I'll probably get through it very shortly. Summer from Denver, NC, or North Carolina. Why did I read it like that? She says, we were at the Beatty's Ford Park in Denver with our 2-year-old son. He was curious to see the boats about to launch into the water from the pier. We were standing on a grassy knoll where you can sit on a bench that overlooks a rocky bank. I was showing him where I work at M&S, and right by where the sheriff launches their boat, we saw this forward rolling wake. God, that's a mouthful. Don't let Ryan try to say that.
I was just about to say.
Not a boat wake. There were no boats that were out at the moment. It was moving toward the cove that Ranger Island Road ends on. It was very big to create a forward rolling wave. It was similar to the ones Nessie would make. I'm not saying this was Nessie, but whatever it was took its time toward that cove, and it was very big. Sometimes it would go under a little, and sometimes it would barely put its head out of the water. My husband and I watched it for about 1.5 minutes trying to figure this thing out. When it got out of sight into the cove, we heard the geese start calling out to each other in warning and then flew away. This was very bizarre what we witnessed. We can't say what it was, but it took its time and let a very big forward rolling wake. If this bitch does not stop saying that. Girl, don't you know someone's going to come back and try to read this out loud one day? My God. The wake was about 15 to 20 feet on each side, where it was in the middle. We were pretty far away, and this wake was huge. That sounds kind of terrifying. I was just like,
It
on
does
a lake, and it's
actually,
like
yeah.
tsunami.
yeah.
Yeah, I got this visions of like this scene from the Godzilla film when he's like coming straight towards the pier with the old guy fishing on the end. He's got that straight at you. That's what I'm seeing right there.
This next one is kind of a callback to our previous descriptors, even with, I think it might have been the bunyip. John from Windward Cove said, me and my daughters captured pictures of something in the water chasing the fish, web feet long, moving very fast. It would submerge for about 1 minute, then reappear across the cove. It was scaly and had sort of a dog or duck's face to it. How do you...
They are polar
Where are people-
opposites. Dog, duck.
How do
What's-
a dog and a duck look even remotely similar in the slightest bit?
That's where I'm like, pick one.
I suppose.
I couldn't tell if
I mean,
it had
pick one.
a snout with teeth or a bill.
Yeah, I mean.
Right? Like,
Oh no, I'm not even going to
I
try and defend the argument and try and explain how, because even me thinking my logic through, it's flawed. It doesn't work. So
Most of your logic is flawed.
I know.
yeah, let's not get into that.
I know, but this was even more so.
Maybe from behind, you couldn't see the actual face.
It's
But
the shape
even
of the
still-
back. Maybe.
Yeah, but even still, a dog, you've got the ears. A duck, it's just a dome.
Yeah.
So.
And even from the
I have to
side,
get a tissue, but I promise I'm listening.
Okay. I mean, even from the side.
Well, you don't...
I mean, you've got. No, it still wouldn't work. That's still, I'm just envisioning. I'm
And
just
that's-
envisioning a duck dog or a dog duck. No, just.
I could be wrong, but I
A bill
don't...
with teeth.
I'm imagining a
I
duck
don't
quack.
think that's the only one that
Duck quack.
No, a dog
I don't think that's the
quacking.
only one that I saw where it was described as having a dog head. That's just weird.
I really want Sadie in the background now to just quack. Like, it just...
She sleep. She sleep.
She sleep, okay.
Next one is, I don't know why, but they are anonymous from Claremont, North Carolina. They said, my sighting, which, again, I had no idea there were people who had seen this thing, happened years ago, maybe 4 years or so. Some friends and I had gone to swim under a bridge that crosses Highway 70. It has since been blocked to public. One of my friends and I walked down the hill and to the left of the river where a decent little beach was in a little cove. The water was deep enough to wade into, then drops to around 10 feet. I guess we startled the creature because suddenly the water kind of erupted like one big, long creature in the cove began splashing and then went to the deeper water. It was such a racket that you would think 10 to 15 small fish all jumped and swam off at the same time. It almost reminded me of a snake, like it was all one creature that moved at the same time. Imagine a snake in the water and it got startled. What? And it got startled. I don't know what this part says. They must have had a couple of typos. Anyway, they said the creature must have been large, 10 to 20 feet given the size of the cove. Needless to say, never went back to swim. No No.
Yeah, something big just moved in the water. Oh, it's gone. We'll go for a swim now. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
like,
fine.
no, you run away.
I'm a pass.
Yeah.
I don't know if I read this one or not already. Like I said, just stop me if I have. I feel like I have. Anyway, a visitor from Wisconsin claimed to have an encounter as well. They said, I saw the water part like something was coming at me. I began to swim to our houseboat when I felt it skim across my legs. It seemed to take forever to finally pass me. And when the swimmer finally boarded the boat, he describes having seen a shadow shaped like a giant snake with lots of fins.
Snake
don't
with
remember
lots
you
of
saying
fins.
that
No, I
one.
don't remember that one. But snakes with lots
No.
of fins? Oh, that would freak me out. Like a massive water centipede or some like that? Yeah.
I was about to say centipede.
Yeah.
The Loch Ness centipede.
Yeah.
Better than a human centipede.
Anything's better than a human centipede.
Another anonymous witness, this one from Mooresville, said, I just moved here and never heard of anything unusual in the lake, but in the 6 months I have been here, I regularly see strange wakes on the surface of the water. I just assumed it had to do with depths, currents, etc. But at about 9 a.m. on January 23rd, 2014, that's precise, I saw what looked exactly like the pictures of the Loch Ness Monster, minus the head. It was long, narrow, and a very dark color. What I saw on the surface did not seem to be moving, but the water surrounding it started churning, and it slowly sank into the water. The churning water expanded almost to each side of the cove. This was not a momentary sighting. I saw this for several minutes, long enough to rule out anything logical.
Yikes.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Normie's real.
when somebody says something like, and you know that they've had a good look at what?
What?
Whoa, that was new.
Did you just have a stroke?
I think
Good ling long ling long.
I don't know what that was. I just lost my train of thought now. Yeah, when someone says they've had a long look at something forget it, move past. I'll get there eventually.
Okay, moving on. Anyway.
It's all right, mate. It's all right.
Tony from Winston-Salem says, in the summer of 1985, two friends and I were bass fishing on the left side of Cowan's Ford Dam in the shallow water. I looked down at what I first thought were big rocks we were moving over until I looked up and realized we were not moving at all. One of my friends in the boat realized this at the same time as I did, and we looked at each other and both of us yelled out, "What was that?" We asked each other what we had seen and agreed. It was at least as long as the boat, which was a 14-foot John boat. I did not see its head, just its huge body, which at first we thought were rocks. I guess we had moved over it with the trolling motor and it swam away.
Wait, so they're claiming to have been in a John boat?
Yep. They said the creature was at least as long as their boat.
Okay, yeah, but I mean, if you think about a John boat, it's not a whole lot of boat for one. You would think that...
He said it was a 14-foot John boat.
Yeah, but I mean, length aside, there's not much to a John boat. It's just basically, like, it's just going to set you in the water and that's it.
I'm just
like,
right.
you would think if it had, I don't know, maybe I'm
just casually Googling John boat. Oh, okay, that's a John boat.
You would just think that it would have more of a, especially if it was something that was equally to the size of a John boat, and it was a creature, it would maybe, I don't know, do a bit more.
Attack them?
I mean, maybe tip them, I don't know.
But we do have to remember, spare for the indigenous man from the way back when story,
Right.
no one's ever actually in modern era been attacked by this thing. So, I mean, who knows if it's even really aggressive towards humans at least without being provoked. Because the indigenous guy, he did provoke it. So, I don't know.
Yeah.
So Jan from Coleraine says, after reading about the Lake Norman monster in a new book, Monsters of North Carolina, I convinced my husband that we needed to head out to look for this amazing creature, which the writer claims has been there longer than the lake. We brought our kayaks and camped for 3 days at the park. We never saw what we would say 100% certain was a monster, but we did see the shadow of something really big pass under our boat while paddling about 100 yards off the shore of the campground. We are stoked and will definitely return to see if we can catch a glimpse of him again. Everyone else's stories are like, nope, never going back there. And then there's Jan from Coleraine who's like, yeah, I can't wait to go back.
I'm gonna catch me a normie.
Okay, and you did say before in previous episodes that there have been, like, alligators and that's been pulled out.
Yes. But they're not native to...
Right. Oh, absolutely.
They just ended up there.
They get pretty
Big.
Yeah.
big.
But we have also previously discussed that people can usually identify an alligator.
Very
They're
true.
very distinct looking creatures.
Yeah.
And I mean, they do have a habit of breaking the surface pretty often. I mean, at least the very, very tip of their heads.
Yeah.
You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Like, you can see their eyeballs and some of their snout.
Yeah, the only
but-
the
Which
thing,
I was just about to say, Jess, you've been there. Like, how dark is that water?
I mean, it's obviously... Hold on, I moved my headset. I mean, it's obviously very deep, but I mean, I have never really had interest in getting in bodies of water like that. So that wasn't really something that... And when I went, like, with my dad telling me about that, it was just kind of like... I guess I just shrugged it off. I didn't really take it that seriously, even with the remains on the dock. But I don't know. I mean, it was a very new place to me, so I wasn't exactly... Yeah. I didn't take it seriously, I guess, so I wasn't really on the lookout for anything weird like that.
Right.
the
So,
only
I
thing you
don't-
could sort of mistake an alligator or a crocodile head surfacing is maybe a bit of driftwood. That is the only thing that could be mistaken with.
Yeah.
And after that,
Yeah.
you're like, oh wait, no, that isn't an alligator or a crocodile. Yeah, like you know pretty instantly 50-50 on what it's actually going to be.
Yeah.
This next one is actually pretty similar to what we've heard from a couple of accounts before. Hannah from Cornelius, North Carolina says, I was relaxing on my Malibu and I guess, is a Malibu a jet ski? Or is it a boat? What's a Malibu?
I shall let you know. Carry on.
I don't know. I'm poor.
No
Okay, well,
idea.
she said, I was relaxing on my Malibu and suddenly one of my friends went under. I dropped my drink because I was so... Oh, I guess she went on a jet ski if she had a drink. I don't know. I'll look it up. I dropped my drink because I was so frightened. A couple seconds later, she came up yelling for her life and... Oh, it's a boat. Okay.
Yes, but I was just...
Because she said her friend jumped back into the boat. She said she couldn't see anything but the famous Normie. Oh, she said she couldn't see anything but the famous Normie, and he was long and slimy and had prickly skin. From that day on, I will never go in Lake Norman again.
Yikes.
Yeah.
So once again, we've got slimy and prickly.
I still don't get how slimy and prickly go together when it comes to a fish or an aquatic creature. Creature? I don't get it. The only thing I can think about is a stickleback fish. It's the only thing I can think of. And they're tiny.
You never heard of a puffer fish?
Okay. Alright. Puffer fish and stickleback fish. But even then, you'd know the difference if a ball brushed up against your leg compared to a... You know...
A ball?
Like a... I really said ball, didn't I?
Yes.
I really called a pufferfish a ball.
Balls can be slimy and prickly, Ryan. Thank you for noticing.
All you need to do is miss a few patches when you're down there. Yeah, no.
Oh, God.
You haven't manscaped for a while.
Okay, anyway, so my last sighting is Linda from Easley, South Carolina. She says, I was driving to Virginia from Easley going across the lake on I-77 when not far from the road, about 25 to 30 feet out into the lake, the water was rolling. It wasn't moving outward like a boat's wake. If this bitch says forward rolling wake, I'm going to have a heart attack. Oh, okay, okay. She says it wasn't moving outward like a boat's wake, but more of a forward motion while rolling. So she didn't say it exactly.
She was nearly there with it.
I commend you for that, Linda. Thank you, Linda.
Around it.
She did. She said, in fact, there weren't even any boats nearby that could have created a wake anyway. It was the strangest thing, and I wondered if there was a sea monster in the lake. And wasn't I amazed on August 26, 2010, to hear the DJ on 106.9 kind of derisively ask if anyone had any Lake Norman monster sightings. So, of course, I looked it up on the internet, and here I am with my report. It was just the strangest thing driving along watching the water roll like it was doing. Glad I wasn't in the lake that day. So a lot of these accounts have a lot to do with slimy, prickly,
Snake-like.
long snake, and a lot of reports about wakes and churning in the lake without any activity on the lake. So that's... I kind of feel like that's scarier to me than, like, maybe actually seeing, like, a shadow. Like, actually seeing water churning and not knowing what's called. Like, that's...
To me, it just sounds like whatever is in that water very much wants to be, like, it's very comfortable in the water. At least it doesn't seem like it wants to get on land and prance about and show itself and grab whatever it wants to. I mean... It sounds like so long as you don't bother it, it won't bother you.
Yep.
And if you do get too close to it, he takes off most of the time.
I was brushing up on my information today and seeing if anything new had come up, and I came across this article that also suggested possibly that Normie could be a turtle, which I don't think so. I don't know. I don't think so.
I wouldn't assume that with as many descriptions that you've gotten about its length.
Yeah.
And how it's shaped. That doesn't make sense.
Even a turtle without a shell.
I can possibly envision the sense of a turtle shell. Like the guy you said at the beginning of your encounters, this episode, said he saw what appeared to be like a bald head or bronchiosaurus. Said maybe being the tip of, the very top of the shell, maybe. But the size comparison of it, if you're trying to think of scale-wise, no. People are describing it more as long than they are wide. And turtles and tortoises they're pretty one by one in a way, so they're very... Yeah, and if you're trying to scale that up, it wouldn't work.
The shell would come out of the water before his head got anywhere near the surface of the water.
Yeah.
Yeah. So no, I don't buy that one.
I just feel like the most common suggestions for what this thing could be are just like they would be so easily identified.
Yeah.
There wouldn't be so many people like, I saw something and I don't know what it was. If it was something so common as an alligator or a turtle or something like that, then, people would be like, well, I guess it had the shape of an alligator or it had the shape of a turtle. But no one in these recollections can really discern what they saw. So,
which makes it more freaky in a sense, because no one has any proper hard solid proof. But because
so when we all get together, we're going to visit Lake Norman.
By the sounds of it, I guess we are.
Oh, I'm down.
Oh, I'm definitely
down.
Yeah.
But another thing about that area and potential genetic mutation within wildlife, there are towns surrounding Lake Norman where there have been a dramatic increase of cancer clusters over the years. Some believe it is due to the power station. I believe it was, McGuire Power Station? I don't remember what it's called. But yeah, some people believe that there are cancer clusters occurring in these towns because of that power station. So if the power station can cause cancer clusters in groups of people in a few towns, why couldn't it mutate something in the lake?
What type of power station is it? Nuclear?
It's hydroelectric, because that's part of the reason the lake was created.
So how could the hydroelectric cause cancer?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Nuclear can. Hydroelectric, because it's renewable.
I can understand with nuclear, but
with hydroelectric being renewable, it's...
I don't know. There's something going on in that area, and that's really the only denominator, I guess, that could have been suggested.
The hydroelectricity one, the power's only created by the flow of the water going through. So there's no bad chemicals or anything like that.
That's what Normie's job is, to keep the current flowing around the lake. to get...
I don't know.
Normie.
But yeah, I don't know. But there is apparently an issue there. I don't remember what town it was in. I think the biggest cancer type that's been running rampant in those areas has been thyroid cancer. And I think if I remember correctly, it said that there were 3 or 4 houses on the same street in one of these towns where all the neighbors had thyroid cancer. So there's obviously something weird going on in that area. If it's not the power plant, I don't know what it is, but there's some happening over there.
I find it hard to believe it'd be the power plant, but
yeah, I'm struggling. If you straight up said that if we definitely that it was a nuclear one, then I'd be able to agree on that. But
the articles, this is all from the research I did. The news articles or whatever about these cancer clusters. They're all quick to point the finger at that power plant. So it's kind of like, what do they know about the power plant that we obviously don't know?
Unless there's something else going on in there that no one else really knows about that's being kept private. That just me adding more mystery to it.
There have been UFO sightings.
A hydroelectric plant is causing cancer.
Yeah.
There have been UFO sightings too there, so.
There's your answer.
There it is.
One was as recent as 2018, but that one was actually debunked as being a blimp.
Boring.
So.
Isn't that always the case?
Really?
Yeah.
Boring.
Oh, sorry, it's weather balloon.
But fun thing I also learned, there is a lake in South Carolina with very similar features to Lake Norman, geography-wise, history-wise, everything. It's Lake Murray. This was another one, man-made, built. It was previously a town where the first settlers were indigenous people. The lake was The area was flooded to create the lake to generate hydroelectric power for a power plant. And there's a whole town underneath that lake. They have their own lore of a lake monster. Like, it's almost the same exact situation. Theirs is named Messy, with an M.
Copyright.
Instead of Nessie. Yeah, I thought that was interesting. I'm like, how many other lakes are there like that in America? Because it's almost the same exact story.
Yeah.
Okay, so if you build a dam that drowns a town, you're going to have issues.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Monsters.
Pretty much, yeah. I think you're just asking for it by doing that. I mean, because even with Lake Murray, it was mentioned that the structures are still down there, including, well, it's not a structure, but there is also at least one graveyard underneath Lake Murray. So I feel like when you kind of disrespect the dead like that, you are asking for a lake monster in a way.
Obviously, and you should never disrespect the dead in the first place, let alone drown them. Yeah, you're gonna get some karma biting your back in the ass.
Did he say?
Yes. Shut up.
Yep.
He just said drown the dead people.
Yes, I did.
Yeah.
I was hoping to.
Okay,
I was hoping no one would pick up on it.
I would have gone more for like a submerge descriptor rather than drown.
No, I want to. No, I'm sticking with drowning the dead.
Oh my god! What if you were someone who was like recently buried in that graveyard, and like you were still alive?
No.
You like woke up in the coffin, and you're like, oh, I'm still alive, just on the same day that they flood the dam.
This is where I part with you, Jess.
I saw this thing where they used to put bells outside of the ground where coffins were buried in case someone was
just
still
in
alive
case.
in there, and they could ring the bell.
Grab the string and
Bitch.
imagine
Imagine
how
you're
people
walking
would
through a
be
graveyard
playing
to mourn
practical
you.
jokes.
Yeah, I was going to say, I want that to be a thing on mine.
I'm getting
Alan-
cremated. There
Alan
is no
has-
chance I'm not going to be dead.
I was about to say, Alan has specifically asked that I let him sit out a few days just to make sure.
I'm going to make that
His
request as
quotes,
well.
just to make sure.
Well, you never know.
If it's suspected that I'm dead, just throw me in the incinerator. Let's go.
Bye-bye, Jess.
You're not burying me alive. Not burying me alive.
No, we're just gonna burn you
Burn
alive.
alive.
Yeah, burn you alive.
However, I have seen Kill Bill. I know how to get out of a buried coffin.
Well then, surely if you just... Okay, so surely if we mistake you for being dead, you'd rather be buried, so then you can actually dig your way out, rather than throwing you in an incinerator alive, and then you just sit there and cook.
No, I'd rather be burned.
Whilst it...
I mean, if everyone's going through the whole process and all the motions of mourning me anyway, it's kind of like, ugh, I don't want to put anyone through that just to turn around and be alive. Just burn me.
That would be the baddest, bitchest move you could make in life. Just wake up and be like, so... And you don't want to put people through that? Like, hello? That is the smuggest you could ever feel in life. Just be like, yeah.
You thought?
Because if I were to ever manage, if I were to ever manage to actually do that to where it's like people presume that I'm dead, it wouldn't matter I wouldn't be smug about it, because if that happened, then I'd use it to fake my own death, and then I would leave and no one would ever find me.
Would you take me with you?
You're gonna be dead long before me.
Jesus.
True.
It was a threat or an insult or what?
In her defense, I've made it perfectly clear with many of the people in my life that I need to go first. Please don't die before me.
I'll try not to. Why?
It's just kind of my rule.
Okay.
I would just rather go first.
In my case, it's going to be a little bit difficult.
You don't know that.
I'm 20 years older. Almost.
That does not matter. That does not matter.
I mean,
that does not
You
matter.
think death gives a shit?
Not everyone dies from old age, Dougie.
I'm pretty damn dumb and
Yeah.
clumsy and stupid, so I can
Yes,
guarantee
serious.
I'm just an idiot and I have no street sense, so I'm guaranteed.
No, you'll
Just
be
don't get
fine.
robbed again.
I'm gonna try not to. Or get involved anyway, like last time. No,
All right.
Well, that concludes my episode and my season arc. So,
I like what you did with that.
Yeah.
Staggering it, staging it. I did like how you've done that. Nice little twist on
You
it.
kept us on our toes. You've done a fantastic job. You've done your service. We appreciate you.
Overall, I can conclude in the sense that I happily believe in Normie now because of that.
Yes.
Yeah.
And as I said, when we're there, we're going to Lake Normie.
we're going. We're going.
I'm a believer.
Yeah.
I'm down.
Yeah.
Oh
I
my
wanna- I
god, we
wanna
should
see
totally
Normie.
do that. We should all rent a house on Lake Norman for like a week and go together.
For some
Are we
reason,
gonna rent a boat too?
not a John
Yeah,
one.
duh.
Don't put me in a John one. That's too small for me.
I will
wanna-
just give you a kayak.
Ryan requests a Malibu, please.
Yes, I do request the Malibu.
Ryan, fetch me my Malibu. Why did that girl have to mention that? Because later on in the story, she just said boat.
Yeah.
I feel like she was just being bougie.
Oh, she bragging.
She was trying to flex.
She bragging.
I was
yeah.
on my Malibu.
Just flexing.
Yeah, she really was.
She was flexing.
I mean, if you got a boat that's called the Malibu to begin with, like yeah,
Oh, that's a little speedboat.
yeah, send it in the chat.
Oh,
Little-
that's pretty fancy. No wonder she was flexing. Okay, girl, this is LakeNormanMonster.com, not FlexMyBoat.com. Thanks.
This is why you're broke.com.
Okay. Damn. Anyway, alrighty. Well, me and Amber are. Well, we're gonna do this bonus episode next.
We're doing
and then
that
me
next,
and Amber are off to do research for her episode next week. It doesn't sound like it's raining anymore, so.
Thank goodness.
Okay, see you guys next week.
See you next
Bye.
week, guys.
Bye.
Bye.